Hey everybody, welcome to the Currahee History Channel. Today we're at a very special place. We're actually at the Currahee Military Museum. First off, I just want to have a chance to say thank you for everybody that has subscribed to the channel. We're really only about 10-12 days old, and we've already gotten about 50 subscribers and almost 7,000 views. That is really awesome, guys, so I really appreciate it. And I encourage everybody to like and subscribe to the videos. Going to have a lot more content coming, so if you like this sort of thing, if you're into World War II history and just history in general, this is what this channel is about. We just want to share this with you and have the opportunity to learn a few things and maybe have some fun along the way. But stick around, we're going to start going through the museum shortly. The museum was actually a train depot before it ever became a museum. This is the place that basically all of the men, Band of Brothers, all the guys that trained at Camp Toccoa would come in by railway, come off the tracks here. This is kind of a little muster area, come through into what is still a working train depot. This is an Amtrak depot, so you guys can catch a train and pretty much go anywhere that Amtrak goes. So come on through and we'll start walking through the mission part of the building. Alright, well, as we round the corner here, we'll go into the front to the missions. Now the museum is open Monday through Saturday from 10 to 4, so be sure you have enough time to kind of make that time frame. Also, Camp Toccoa is only open on the weekend, so please keep that in mind till 4 o'clock on the weekend. So if you try to come and knock out both places, you'll need to allow yourself enough time. And really, I would say for most people, give yourself about 2 hours, because there's a lot to see here in the museum. So come on, let's go inside here. And this is the place where you come to pay for your tickets to go through the museum. Also, this is where you would come to pick up, pamphlets for local history as well, and also your train information. So if you're going to catch a train, this is kind of where you would come through to. Okay, as we walk into the museum, this is still part of the original train depot. So this would have kind of been like a sitting area, that sort of thing, for people waiting to take their next train to go to various locations. Now we've turned this into more of the localized history of not only some people that were here from Toccoa that become famous for their own reasons, but just local history in general, because we date back to the Indians here, especially around Currahee Mountain. It was very heavy with Native Americans, the Cherokee especially. So a lot of these things we will be talking about individually later, so please be sure to subscribe to the channel for that, because I'm going to be covering different information on different folks and different locations around. But today's just going to be kind of a brief walkthrough of the museum for you guys, just to kind of give you a taste of what all we do have. But I do encourage you to come see it. Some of the moonshine distilleries. This area was very highly known for that. That is Traveler's Rest, which was a little mountain inn that dates back into the early 1800s. That is still right down the road from our museum here that you can go see. Some of the local schools. We had a few famous musicians come from the area, as well as some doctors and orphanages. Some of the dolls that were made for the kids.
How is everybody? Welcome to two Cherokee villages in the lower settlements during the late 1700s.
As we go through these doors, this is getting into more of the new portion of the museum that we had built that goes over a few more things in local history. But as we go outside here, that gets into the military portion about Camp Toccoa, of course, Band of Brothers, and the men that trained here. Mr. Letourneau, he had a manufacturing company here, and some of the stuff that was produced, especially some of the equipment, was used actually on D-Day. We'll talk about that later in some videos. We even had an Olympic champion that was a world's strongest man at one point. Paul Anderson, he was from here in Toccoa. Now this portion of the museum is a new addition. This is going to be for all of our military stuff, and you can see here these are the Easy Company stables. We primarily had this museum, this part, built just to house everything for the military and primarily the stables. And we have ramps in place, and we also have a lift as you come into the museum, so we are handicap accessible parking up front as well, so I want to highlight that. Info on the Alborn stable that's back behind me right now. Like I say, we will talk in depth about the stables at a later video. Some of the movies about some of the men that trained here. Of course, these two right here are going to be the most popular ones that really put our museum on the map. A lot of folks don't know that the real life Saving Private Ryan actually trained here in the 501st. We also had the Filthy 13, which they had their own movie called The Dirty Dozen back in the 60s. With 506, and this is his uniform that he wore on the D-Day landings. Some more artifacts and pictures and whatnot that came from Camp Toccoa. Cooktop stove that come from the camp, from the mess hall. This is pretty cool. This is an actual aerial photo of Camp Toccoa. And you can see right here, this is the original trail that comes out that connects from where you can park and either walk or drive the original trail up Currahee. So that would have been the actual trail that the men would run. Here's the Easy Company stable. This is a 6-stall horse barn that Easy Company made their headquarters in prior to jumping into D-Day. And we'll go a little bit more in depth with that in a separate video. Some people ask, why do we have a Japanese flag in here? The 511 that trained here at Camp Toccoa, one of the divisions, actually fought against the Japanese. And Colonel Sink, he was the commanding officer, of course, of Easy Company, and he was over at Camp Toccoa at the time, and he was responsible for getting the name changed from Camp Robert Toombs to Camp Toccoa. And then these, which I'm very proud of, these were some of the first artifacts that were dug up from the camp that was donated by my grandmother, or my granny as I call her. Some of you guys will remember the silk wedding dress from one of the shorts earlier. These were made by Parachutes. And there was a chapel that was on site at the camp. And one cool thing that I'd like to point out to you guys too, if I can get the shadow off of here. This gentleman, let's see, right here. Right here is my great uncle Jimmy that trained in the 501st. He was in I Company. And this is also another photo of him right here. A couple of pictures from Normandy, from the beaches. I'll actually be going there in October. Super excited about that trip. Again, you can kind of see how small these guys really were. If I'm not mistaken, this is like a size 36 jacket. We have a really good sized gun collection. These are all German Mauser variants. A lot of different countries that actually made their own variation of the Mauser. Oddly enough, they would be invaded by Germany. More weapons there. You can see the M1 Garand, the 1903, Browning 30 cal, MG 34, a couple of British weapons up in there too. Sorry for the glare. We do have a lot of different lighting at different angles, so it makes it a little difficult. But this is just a teaser video, guys. We'll be going more in depth when I actually do a video on the stables here. I just wanted to give you guys kind of a glimpse of the museum itself. A lot to see here. And we do have customers in today, which is great, considering that it's raining outside. Got our Jeep on display. You can see there it's got the Browning 30 cal mounted on it.
How many tools did Johnny do? How many tools did Johnny do?
He went back to,
More gun collection.
he was a midget.
Now this portion of the museum I like to call the kind of like the timeline. This represents all the different wars that the United States have been involved with. So of course it starts out like Revolutionary, Civil War, goes through, World War II, Korea, a few other standout people from the area that were involved with these different conflicts as well. Back this direction, out the exit goes into our gift shop. So we actually have an online gift shop, so all of the merchandise and We have books, stickers, all kind of shirts, hats, different memorabilia, that sort of thing. So if you guys would ever like to have something here from the museum, I'll leave a link down below to the website for the museum. And you know, we'd love to have you guys to donate, because our museum is not federally recognized or owned. It's really just by donation and people that are coming in and buying the tickets to come through the museum. That's how we operate and how we keep our doors open, pay the light bill. So it's very, very important that we have that kind of community and whatnot of people that enjoy this kind of history, that want to come out and see it. So that really helps support us. A few things about the Korean War, some of the equipment, and kind of a timeline of things that happened during the war in different phases. I had another great uncle who was also in the 101st Airborne at that time. He was also in the Korean War. So I come from a proud lineage of people that served. My grandfather also served in the Army. I did not, unfortunately. I almost did, but I had some medical issues, and we actually had our first daughter at the time, so did not go, but have huge respect for everybody that has served and it currently does. So I like to do this as a way of giving back from the ones that come before me. Local Veteran Showcase. This is something we do if you have a family member that might have served here at Camp Toccoa. We would love to highlight them. We do this monthly, where we, you know, put out stuff about your family member, and so it's just a great way of giving them exposure and, you know, giving them that recognition. Desert Storm, Iraq, Afghanistan. Currahee 506 is still an active unit. They're out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Now this here is our library. We actually have a lot of content about each 4 divisions that trained here. And if you had family members that you're trying to find information about, we encourage you to reach out. You can call the number or go online to the website for the museum, and we can go inside our library. It's closed at the moment. We can go inside the library and we can actually find information, and we have roster books to try to find out, you know, what division your kinfolks might have been in. These are some items like, you know, you see here the medical corps and that sort of thing. All of this come from Camp Toccoa, some of the stuff from the mess hall.
Okay. All right. Call me and see if I know how to use this phone. Okay, thank you. Bye.
And this is the gift shop. This is where you'll end up at the end of the museum. Like I say, we have a lot of merchandise. You can get online through the online store, and I'll leave a link to the museum where you can do that, where you can also donate. Alright folks, that was pretty much just a brief walkthrough of the museum. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff to see, so please come see it. You know, tours are available. You can come walk through on your own, but like I say, I would suggest about 2 hours, just because there's so much content, there's so much stuff to read through, to look through, and also if you come here in enough time, you can go up to the camp as well. It usually stays open till 4 o'clock, and that's only on Saturday and Sunday. Thanks so much for tuning in today, and hope you enjoyed this content. Please like and subscribe. See ya.